Hello, and welcome to the Impact Podcast, where real women talk about real life and we have real fun while creating a winning life team in real time. Change the people you associate with and you can change your life. On our podcast, we are going to show you how. We're going to help you change your life and have fun while you're doing it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Impact Podcast, where real women talk about real life and we have real fun. And believe me, sometimes it's easier to have fun than others. And I think that we're living in a time in our world, not just in our community and not just in our lives, but we're in our world where there's a lot of lemons that are being thrown at us right now. And so today on our podcast, we have 4 phenomenal podcast hosts. I've got Robin Abear in studio with me.
9 feet away.
At least 9 feet away.
Hi, Jen.
Hello. I'm so excited to have you and, just to do life with, and that's really the premise of our show is creating life teams in real time and really sharing that journey with people because we know success doesn't happen alone. And we've locked arms probably about 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And we said, you know what, you're groovy and I'm, we're like mutual grooviness.
You're pretty groovy.
And we said, I need what you have, you need what I have. Let's lock arms and go deep. And we've made a lifetime commitment to one another. And that's really what a life team is. We decided, why not do a whole podcast about that premise? And it's in real time. So, you and I are connected and have been, but we've got Leslie Wilson, who is another one of our podcast hosts, who hopefully, Leslie, you are watching. And then Chantel Boucher, which I just like saying that name. You know what I mean?
I love her name.
I know. I love her.
Chantel Boucher.
I love her. I'm trying to see if she's listening, but...
So in an effort to keep us all in safe distances, Jens and I are here in the studio with our wonderful studio tech, John. Thank you so much for meeting us here. We all have safe distance. And Leslie and Chantel are far away in their homes. So that's how we're going to pull this off today. We're hoping to be able to edit them in later. Obviously, you aren't going to see them right now on the live.
Right. But their spirit, they're here in spirit, and hopefully they will be answering some questions for us. But yes, we are a triangle, and we are definitely we're doing our social distancing for sure.
Definitely.
So, one of the things that we want to talk about right now is how this coronavirus pandemic has impacted you personally, how it's impacted you professionally, and really kind of what it is you're doing in your life.
So, for us, we have the fortune that we own a business that's a necessity business. And so we are still able to take emergency plumbing calls. We aren't doing bathroom remodels. We aren't doing faucet change outs and things like that. But we are available to our community for those emergency calls. And that has been a blessing. We are practicing safe distance and zero touch calls. But we're in a little bit of a different place. Now, has our business slowed down? Sure, considerably. I have an interior design portion of our corporation, and I'm not in any clients' homes right now.
Right.
So I don't have children. People that have kids, Shirley Chantel, I know she's got a house full of people right now, one of our co-hosts, and I know that she's a little bit more challenged than I feel. I've got Chad and myself. Our house isn't ginormous, but we get to have some personal space, which is good. But I think trying to stay away from the onslaught of just continuous news. Great that we're busy. Great that we are still connected to our community, but always not so great to be sitting in front of a television screen all day long.
That's
like
what,
ruminating and hand wringing and being upset. I mean, it's anxiety provoking for the best of us.
But that's what I want to ask you is, do you have the TV on? There's two things I wanted to ask you. Okay, number one, do you have the TV on all day long? Because I don't. I'm not one of those that I don't like TV for the background noise.
No, I know this about you.
I don't like, I mean, yeah. I want it quiet. I work out of the house. And so for me, that's not different. But I want it quiet. I turn the TV on around 5 o'clock so I can have the coronavirus press conference really. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I do. I mean, it's like a daily thing. But other than that, I'm not listening to the negativity.
Well, we're busy. I mean, working, even though I am not in clients' homes right now. I'm getting things ready for when I will be. I'm redoing my design website. I'm writing promotional materials. I'm doing some blog writing. I mean, no, I'm not sitting in front of a television every day either. Like you, we have an open design home. I don't want that television on the background all day.
Right.
But maybe we're different, and maybe our suggestion to people is pull yourself away from the television all day long.
Well, definitely.
I turn it on at 5 like you.
Right. You know, one of the things for me personally is I would say my life switched, you know, I had a pivot in my life and a change in my life in April last year. You know, to me, the coronavirus didn't stop me in my tracks because I was really kind of, I'm not going to say stop because I never stop. You know that about me, Robin. I know that about you. And I bet a lot of people that are watching right now, you're not the type that you're going to be stopped in your tracks. So we've been slowed down, right? But for me, it was last April when my mother fell and broke her hip.
Right.
So really for about the last 11 months, my life has been different. And, you know, that's what, to me, the coronavirus is really, it's a reminder that you don't have control over everything in life. And you can truly only control what you can control. So you can't control when somebody in your family is going to pass. You can't control when someone in your family is going to get a disease. I mean, you've had cancer yourself.
Right.
You can't control what the government's going to do. Believe me, I know a lot of people want to. I mean, I know a lot of people. There's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking going on, and but you know, even that in and of itself, we don't have all the information. We don't have all the information, so it's easy for us to sit and say we would do something one way or another way, but all we really can control is ourselves. So for me, the coronavirus, there's definitely some things I'm doing differently in my life, and that's, you know, you made a comment that you said, you know, you are experiencing, or you are honoring the no touch rule. So does that mean, you know, you and Chatters? I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine that.
We're honoring the no touch rule out in our businesses. You know, clients are concerned. Chad and his team are showing up in masks and gloves, and because we're only doing emergency plumbing work, you know, it's easy to do that, and it makes the client feel better about us practicing safe business during this time. In our home, I hope it doesn't get to no touch, because you're quarantined or you're in the same space to stay at home orders for X amount of time. Well, who knows what that's going to evolve to.
So here's another question. And another question. I mean, I know Chantel and Leslie are watching, and they both said yes. Limit the number of hours you're watching TV. Okay. So that's one of our pieces of advice. I think we're unanimous. All four of us say during this time, don't watch TV all day long. You know, be productive in other things. And we're gonna be giving you tips, you know, from our life team here. But a second question, and this is a really serious question, and you and I were talking about it just a few minutes ago, and that is, how has this impacted your marriage, your relationship, the people that you live with?
Well, we are out on calls early in the day. But we're together. There's a lot more together time. Fortunately, we have a relationship where we both like our own space and we like our own company. And if you don't already have that, this would be a good time, I guess, to work on that. I'm certainly not a relationship guru and the last person in many ways that could be giving advice on that. But the advice I do give is be comfortable in your own company. I've done a lot of gardening. Chad has cleaned out the garage like maybe twice. He has other interests that keep him occupied. I know he likes to listen to books on tape. He's watching other people's podcasts online, right?
Right.
I'm doing the same kinds of things. I read. I like being outside. I'm not allowed to run anymore, but I am getting out and walking. We're both working out in the home, which is great. The gyms are closed. Chad's bummed about that. He likes getting into the gym. I can't, neither of us can do that. So I guess at close quarters with anybody is be comfortable in your own company.
Well, I
don't know how single people are doing. I mean, we could pose the same question to, if you're single, are you just feeling extra isolated? I mean,
right. Well,
right?
No, I think that if you are a single person, you live by yourself, I can imagine that you are feeling isolated. And that isolation makes you a lot of times feel depressed. I mean,
Sure.
I guess it just depends. I'm an extrovert, and because I'm an extrovert, I love being around people. I love social interaction. My husband is an introvert. He would prefer little interaction. You know, he always says that he interacts with people in business so much that when he's not doing business, he prefers to be alone or to just have me with him. And you know what? I'm going to be honest, because you know I'm honest and transparent. And again, similar to last April when my mother fell and broke her hip, and then on Christmas Day, we found out that she had breast cancer, and she was put on hospice on January 14th. Now we're locked out of the memory care facility. We can't see her. That puts stress because, listen, we know everybody's days are numbered. I mean, your days are numbered, my days are numbered, everyone's days are numbered. And I think it's a blessing when we find out that a loved one's days are numbered. So we know her days are numbered right now. And it is a struggle to not be able to go and see her. But thank heavens we have FaceTime. So they FaceTime us in and we see. But in January, my husband, Dave, decided to step away from a company that he was with. And so he's been working at home more since that time. But let me tell you, when he was working at home and I was able to go out and about and do my daily life, then, and Robin, I have a very full life, and I engage. One of my favorite things I do is I facilitate a mastermind. You're in the mastermind.
Correct.
I'm executive managing director for our Dallas chapter here in eWoman Network, and you are on the board with that as well. And we do many things there. We've got all these live events, and I've got a full life with friends and family and a lot of other clients. But since the coronavirus, when it's just been Dave and I in the house, I mean, when I say we're on the verge of divorce, I'm not kidding about that. I mean, are we going to get divorced? No. But is somebody going to be maimed in the... Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean physically maimed. I mean, like, I mean, it's a challenge.
No, and I know the two of you, so I understand that. I got to tell you something. I'm married to more of an introvert.
Yes.
I'm way more extroverted than Chad is. He's certainly very social. He certainly has his times of loving social interaction, but he is a little more reserved than I am. That's for sure. So I'm way more missing the time away and the time out and meetings and all of the different things that I'm involved in outside of our home. That's not just business. But then again, my business is really social, like yours.
Right.
I mean, gents, I'm in people's homes, and it suits me just great, my extroverted personality.
Okay.
So I'm missing that.
Right.
I'm missing my friends, virtual happy hours while we all pour a glass of wine and sit back and drink it together.
But you know what? Well, that's what
it is not doing it.
Okay, well, so Chantel, one of our Chantel Boucher. I mean, she is the risk taker. I think all of us take risk, but each one of us kind of has a persona. I'm the mindset master, and when I talk about some things that I really recommend that everybody do, you got to master the mind, because the people that are scared, the people that have doubt, that have fear, that are freaking out, number one, that's going to decrease your immune system and it's going to make things worse. And number two, use this time to really master that. If you're experiencing fear, if you're experiencing doubt, if you're experiencing any type of negative thoughts whatsoever, let me know. I can help you through those things, because chaos is going to happen. You're going to have to embrace the chaos. But Chantel is saying she's going on dates. She says dates with friends and family over wine, over FaceTime or Skype. That's one way that she's been doing it. And I'm going to say Leslie, our other host, she actually got on a plane. She dates somebody that's out of town, and the flights are very inexpensive right now.
Sure they are.
And so she's hopped on a plane, and she is spending this time that she would be spending with her business, maybe here or maybe out on a business trip. She went and she's spending time with her boyfriend. So good for you, Leslie. We're happy and excited about that.
And it's good that if she's stuck out of town, she's with someone she loves and she's not alone.
Right. And
also good that she can take aspects of her financial consulting business with her.
Right. And, I think another thing, when you talk about, okay, what is it that you're doing differently in your life right now? Well, obviously, because we are staying home more, I'm a reader. Well, I've lost weight.
I have too, actually.
I don't want y'all to get mad at me now. I don't want y'all to get mad at me, because I know sometimes when people do positive things, there's haters around. But I've lost weight because I really do. I don't know if you feel this way, Robin, but I feel like over the last probably 18 months and maybe even 2 years, I feel like I've been preparing for this coronavirus. I'm not even kidding you.
Of course you would be.
I've been preparing for it because about a year ago, Dave and I said, our kids are grown. They're out of the house. We need to downsize.
Right.
Let's build a new home, and let's build a home that's exactly what we want. And I love to work out. I mean, my undergraduate degree is in health and wellness. I've been working out. I'm a workout-aholic. I'm a workaholic. I'm a funaholic. But I have a workout room, and I read when I'm running on the treadmill. And so, I used to run 6 miles 6 days a week. And then it went to 5 miles 6 days a week. And then it went to 4 miles 6 days a week. And now it's 3 miles, probably 5 to 6 days a week. But because I've been home more, I've been running more, and I've been reading more. So I want to know some of the books, because I know you're a reader also. And I want to know some of the books, everybody out there. What are some of the books? If one of the results, the byproducts of what you're doing differently, or maybe more of, if you're reading, what are some of your favorite books? What are some of the books you've read? And we've only been quarantined about 2 weeks, okay?
I know it feels a little longer than that.
We've only been quarantined about really 2 weeks, and it's extended into at least April 30th.
Right.
So books.
So I just finished with several other women reading Girl, Wash Your Face. That was good. As a general, thought Jen's going to put that up for us.
Yeah, we've got the book right here.
As a general life rule, I like to read books like this. Self-improvement, personal and professional development books. Probably I should get into a good novel, though.
I know.
This would be a good time.
It would be a great time to
I'll take recommendations.
Right. A really cool novel that just kind of pulls you in.
I like suspense.
I love suspense novels.
Gone Girl kind of books. That's my thing.
You know, I mean, any James Patterson suspense I like. I
my
really
dad
do.
liked James
and I have
Patterson.
a ton of James Patterson books. I really do. So, you know,
I didn't know this about you.
I'll take a picture and show you and see. So one of the books, obviously, Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. We both read that, and it's phenomenal. And, you know, one of the things I love so much about this book is she talks about the importance of diversity in your life team. I mean, basically, she doesn't use the term life team, but your inner circle. Yeah. You know, if everybody you have in your inner circle is just exactly like you, then all the perspectives on life, on your marriage, on your business, on your struggles, on everything that you're dealing with in your life is similar to yours. And, and the importance of having diversity in your inner circle, of course, obviously, people that you trust, it is important, because I don't want everybody to say, yeah, I agree with you. I want somebody to say, hold on a second, Jens, I think you should look at it a little bit differently. And that's one thing I love about you, because you're the diplomat, and you share that perspective, and you do it in such a nice, kind way.
Thanks. I'm not always kind and nice or patient.
Right.
I mean, ask my husband. But I am known to have diplomacy skills.
Yes, you do. I'll tell you another book. Another book that I finished reading, and I'm not going to say the complete title, but this is actually one of Leslie Wilson's book, and it's Un-F Yourself. Now, I'm not going to say the complete word, because some people might be offended by that, and but it's by Gary John Bishop, and this is our mastermind book for next month. But it's phenomenal.
It's in my Amazon cart.
And let me tell you, the big message from him is, of course, you're in control of everything in your life. And that's one of my second tips to get through the coronavirus is, number 2, realizing you can only control what you can control. So, you know, we talked about it a little bit more, I mean, in the past, but I think it's a really big lesson. Stop worrying about things you can't control.
But I understand that, and I agree with that. And I think that people now, when you're in a situation, a world pandemic, where you feel very out of control, we just don't have any control over this. I know, and I've heard from other people, is taking and feeling the control where you do have it, because that is also hopeful. I mean, and losing hope. Someone asked me that this week, like, how are you staying hopeful? And the person was feeling down. I mean, natural during this kind of a time, but controlling what you can control. You know, I keep a gratitude journal. That's an area of control. So at the end of every day, we can all think of 3 things that we're grateful for. And a gratitude practice right now has been more important than ever to me.
Right.
How about you?
Well, that's another result from this for me. I'm a very faith-based person, a very spiritual person, but I've become more committed to my faith and spirituality than not. I'm not going to say more committed than I have been in the past, because I've been extremely committed in the past prior, but recommitted to the importance of, you know, I've always prayed. I mean, I've always been a daily prayer person, but more reading in the scriptures and getting more of an eternal perspective. In my opinion, I think that's a big difference. You know, some people have an eternal perspective, and when you have an eternal perspective, things in life that are happening right now, it's more temporal and temporary. And so I have definitely been recommitted in that. And that's one thing I've loved, even with Dave. Dave has started to read scriptures and understand things. I think that if you have that part of you, in you, even if it's just a little teeny little seed. In things like this, times like these, you go back to that. And so that's definitely something, and I think gratitude is spiritual. I mean, it's a spiritual gift. It's one of the gifts of the Spirit.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I too am spiritual, and I do have a reality or a grasp on infinity of spirit, and reading things that validate that, and doing practices that validate that for me are helpful also. And for many people, it's scripture. For me, it's scripture as well, maybe to a lesser degree than for you, Jens.
Right.
But I also like reading other spiritual things. I mean, now's a good time if you haven't read Gary Zukav in a long time.
I love that.
Now's a good time to get reacquainted with Seed of the Soul.
Well, to me, just like you were saying, it's eternal truths. So whether it's scripture, quote unquote, or whether it's Gary Zukav, Wayne Dyer,
sure,
Bruce Lipton. I know I'm missing one of my favorite ones. It's just not popping into my head, but where they talk about eternal truths. And of course, the eternal truth of gratitude and how that truly does, it softens your heart, it changes your mind, it changes your perspective. Any eternal truth is spiritual. I mean, it's spiritual, and it changes. It changes your perspective. So it's not what happens to you, it's how you look at what is happening to you. But here's this other book, and I know we're going to read this because I know you ordered it, but Barbara Cochran's book, her biography, it's phenomenal. And here's what I love is some people, and here's another tip for you. Use this setback as a setup. So instead of looking at this as a setback, look at it as a set up, and I like
that, Jens. Be
very intentional about how you're going to spend your time right now. So while this is what I think is, to me, it evens out the playing field. So if we're running a race and we're running a marathon, and you've got people that are way ahead of you, well, when chaos happens and things like this happen, people slow down. Now, some people are going to actually stop. We're not stopping, but there are going to be people that stop. They're going to slow down. And then there's going to be people that are going to allow themselves to be pulled down. I mean, they've
right.
got people that are pulling them down. The media's pulling them down, the negativity, the fear. And you literally can get further ahead than you were prior to this. So I think if we start becoming very intentional with what are you setting up? What are you setting up? Do you need to work on yourself personally or professionally? And if it's either of those, or maybe it's you want to serve more people. But whatever it is, this book right here, she talks about all the lemons that she was handed in her life and how she turned lemonade into all of them. And to me, you were handed a lemon when you were diagnosed with cancer.
I was.
And you made some major tasty lemonade out of that.
Thank you, Jens. It wasn't, initially I was petrified, no joke. And I was irritated because it was a setback, and I was a little afraid. I wasn't initially afraid. I was initially irritated, honestly. And then I grasped the magnitude that kidney cancer is pretty scary, pretty major. And I'm really fortunate to be in the land of the living, and I'm 7 years cancer-free now. But it was that time that I started keeping a gratitude journal. My mom was by my hospital here in Dallas. She's not from here. She flew in from Pittsburgh, and I was really grateful for her help. But she declared by my hospital bed that, I think it's a good idea to start keeping a gratitude journal, because you're in the land of living by God's grace, really. And there's a reason, and I want you to grasp more gratitude in your life. And it, the cancer for me really was the needed paradigm shift that was just at that time in my life really necessary.
Yeah, and you know what I'm really excited about? I'm really excited to find out the positive changes that happen in people's lives because of this coronavirus.
Yeah, we can use this exact same allegorical situation.
Exactly, because we all have setbacks in our lives. We all have things that happen to us that are out of control. We all have tragedies, and out of every bad thing that happens, multiple good things happen. And we've just discussed it. We're reading more, we're working out more, we're tuning back into spirituality and eternal truths. We're becoming more connected emotionally. We might not be as connected physically because we're not supposed to be, but there's a lot of positives. And I'll tell you another thing that I've learned is the magic and the hope that we have in our youth. One of the things that I do as a life coach is I work with entertainers, I work with groups, I work with social media influencers, professional athletes, and I'm actually working with a musical group right now called the Microchicks, and they are 12 years old.
Spitfires.
They so you got to look them up. The Microchicks, they're phenomenal, and I've been working with them, and the positivity and the hope and the drive and the tenacity and the love that they have in these, and let me tell you, in the voice and the work ethic and that they have within them, we're going to be fine. I mean, our youth, they're really strong. So I've learned a lot. I mean, what do you think are some of the biggest things you've learned in just this short period of time?
I've connected more with family. I never feel disconnected from family, but I've definitely taken more time to do more texting, more phone calls, FaceTimes with my mom, where I wouldn't normally have done FaceTime with her. I took an online design class, just a brush up on exterior paint color consultations, and that was something eye-opening for me to do. As you guys, maybe not, but a lot of people know that I developed a Bath and Body product line that was just about to launch. It started in the planning processes about a year ago, where I became very aware of, through my cancer, caused by a chemical exposure, that what we put on our skin goes in our skin. And it became a cause of mine and a bandwagon of mine to source out a line and create something that's all natural, no chemicals, no animal testing, and fair trade sourced, so that everybody picking my shea nuts gets paid a fair way to do it.
Right. And
so I'm working on that still behind the scenes. I'm trying to find a way I can slide in a photo shoot legally, if you will, during this time. But I'm not, standing still, and I'm drawing more inspiration and able to research some additional scents that I want to do in the next rollout. I haven't even rolled this one out yet.
Right.
But, it's certainly a good time to see for me in this product line, to feel the effects of different scents, different aromas, and their effects on our life, and chemicals and their effects on our life.
Well, and I think to close up really how this has impacted us individually and personally, you've got to do the plan, do review, and Nobody planned for this, but hopefully you're planning for the unexpected, because that is part of life. And you're doing the review, and one of the big things for me is the importance of the life team. And the reason why we started this podcast, because you've got to know who your lifers are. You've got to know the people that have made a lifetime commitment to you, the people that you trust, the people that are not going to stab you in the back, the people that are not takers, but they reciprocate. They're given to you as much as you're given to them, and not in an exact equal way, because that's really not possible, but they're giving to you the same effort level. And that's what we're doing with our 4 here. That's what Robin and I have been doing with one another for 4 years. And what I'm excited about is it's even going to go deeper, between the 2 of us, and
I'm looking forward to
between
that.
the 4 of us. Subscribe to our YouTube or iTunes channel so you never miss an episode, or visit our website, theimpactdallas.com, to connect with us more.